Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Professor, I wanted to discuss the recent assignment. I found it quite challenging, and I'm struggling to grasp some of the concepts. Can you provide some guidance?
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Which parts of the assignment are giving you the most trouble?
Well, the mathematical modeling section is particularly tough for me. I'm having a hard time understanding how to create a model for the given problem.
I understand that mathematical modeling can be complex. Let's start by breaking down the problem into smaller steps. Have you reviewed the relevant course materials and textbooks?
Yes, I have, but I'm still not sure how to apply the concepts to this specific problem.
That's understandable. Mathematical modeling often requires practice and patience. Have you attempted any initial calculations or made any assumptions about the problem?
I have, but I'm unsure if I'm on the right track. I fear I might be overcomplicating things.
It's a common concern. Let's go over your work together, and I'll help you identify any areas where you may be overcomplicating the problem. We'll work through it step by step until you gain a clearer understanding.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate your guidance and support.
How does the professor suggest starting to tackle the student's problem? Why is the student finding mathematical modeling challenging? What does the student fear regarding their work on the assignment?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
You're very welcome, and I'm here to help you succeed. When tackling mathematical modeling, remember that simplicity can often be key. Start by identifying the core variables and relationships that affect the problem. Once you have a clear structure, build upon it incrementally.
That makes sense, Professor. I'll give it another try, keeping it simple.
Great! Don't hesitate to reach out if you run into any roadblocks or have more questions along the way. Additionally, consider discussing your progress with your classmates during study sessions or study groups. They might offer valuable insights and alternative approaches.
I'll definitely take your advice, Professor. I also appreciate your patience and willingness to help me understand the material better.
Learning is a collaborative process, and I'm here to support your growth. The more effort you invest in understanding these concepts, the more confident you'll become in handling challenging assignments like this one. Remember, challenges are opportunities for growth.
Thanks, Professor. I'll work diligently on this assignment, and I'm grateful for your guidance.
You're welcome, and I look forward to seeing your progress.
What did the professor emphasize as the key to success in mathematical modeling? How did the professor describe learning? In the conversation, what are challenges considered to be?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
Thank you, Professor. I'm feeling more encouraged now. Your guidance has certainly helped alleviate some of my anxiety about this assignment.
I'm glad to hear that, and I believe in your ability to overcome challenges. Remember that learning often involves facing difficulties, and it's all part of the educational journey. By pushing through these tough assignments, you'll gain valuable skills and knowledge.
You're right, Professor. I'll embrace this challenge and use it as an opportunity to improve my problem-solving skills.
That's the spirit. Embracing challenges and seeking help when needed is a sign of maturity and growth. If you have any questions or need clarification, don't hesitate to ask. The more you engage with the material, the more you'll learn.
I'll definitely make the most of this experience. Thank you once again for your support, Professor.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to assist dedicated students like yourself. Keep up the hard work, and I have no doubt you'll excel in this assignment and in your academic journey as a whole.
I will, Professor. Thanks for the motivation and guidance.
In the opinion of the professor, what does it mean to ask for assistance when one is in need of it? According to the professor, what is it that learning usually entails?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey Jamie, do you remember we have to do our chores today?
Yeah, I remember. I can't believe it's chore day already.
Well, we can make it more bearable by splitting them up. What do you want to do?
I guess I'll take the trash out if you handle the dishes.
Fair enough. We can do it together to make it faster. By the way, Mom said we need to clean the bathroom too.
The bathroom is the worst. I guess I'll scrub the toilet and you can clean the sink and mirror?
Sounds like a plan. After that, we should vacuum the living room.
True, but I hate vacuuming. How about a deal? I'll vacuum and you can mop the floor.
Deal. That way, we both do the things we dislike a little less. And don't forget to water the plants in the hallway.
Yeah, I'll grab the watering can. Thanks for the reminder.
No problem. We can make a list of chores and check them off as we go to stay organized.
Good idea. It'll help us keep track. After all this, we can watch a movie or play some video games to reward ourselves.
Agreed. It's always more motivating when we have something fun to look forward to. Let's get started then.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Absolutely, Jamie. Let's knock out these chores and enjoy the rest of the day.
What is the main purpose of the conversation? What motivates Alex and Jamie to split up their chores? What does Jamie mean by teamwork makes the dream work? How does Jamie feel about the idea of cleaning the bathroom? What is the deal made between Alex and Jamie regarding vacuuming and mopping?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good evening. I can see you're passionate about cooking. What brings you into the world of culinary arts?
Hi there. I've always loved cooking and experimenting with flavors. It's not just a hobby, it's a way of expressing myself. I've been thinking about pursuing it more seriously. How did you get started?
That's great to hear. Well, I started working in a small family restaurant at a young age. It was there that I fell in love with the art of cooking. Over the years, I honed my skills through culinary school and worked in various kitchens. What's your favorite type of cuisine or dish to cook?
I'm really into Italian cuisine right now. Pasta and pizza are my specialties, but I'm always eager to learn more. What's your favorite dish to prepare?
Italian cuisine is a fantastic choice. My favorite dish to prepare is coq au vin, a classic French chicken dish. It's a labor of love, but the flavors are divine. Speaking of which, What's your biggest culinary challenge so far?
I'd say making the perfect pasta from scratch. There's something about the texture and flavor that store-bought pasta can't replicate. It's been a real journey getting it right.
Making fresh pasta is an art in itself. It's all about practice and patience. Don't be discouraged by early failures. They're part of the learning process. And remember, every chef has their own unique approach. What's one piece of advice you'd like to receive from a seasoned chef like me?
That's great advice. I'd love to know how you balance creativity with tradition in your cooking.
Balancing tradition and creativity is key. Start with the fundamentals, but don't be afraid to experiment with new ingredients or techniques. It's where innovation in the culinary world often springs from.
Thanks for the insights. I'm excited to continue my culinary journey, and your guidance is invaluable.
You're welcome. I'm always here if you have more questions or need guidance. Keep cooking and exploring. The culinary world is boundless, and it's a rewarding journey.
What is the underlying message of the enthusiast statement about cooking being a way of expressing oneself? How did the chef initially get involved in cooking? What does the chef suggest about early failures in the culinary journey? What emotion does the chef express when saying coq au vin is a labor of love? What does the enthusiast seek when asking about balancing tradition with creativity? What is the hidden meaning behind the chef's statement, "Don't be discouraged by early failures"?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
In a historic summit, world leaders from over 150 nations gathered today to address the escalating climate crisis. The Global Climate Action Summit, hosted in New York City, comes at a pivotal moment in history as nations seek to reaffirm their commitment to mitigating the devastating effects of climate change. The summit opened with a powerful address from United Nations Secretary-General Elena Rodriguez, who emphasized the urgency of the situation. She stated, "We are at a crossroads. Our planet is suffering, and the time for action is now. We cannot afford to delay any longer. The climate crisis is not a distant threat. It is here and now." Leaders from major carbon-emitting countries, including the United States, China, and India, reiterated their commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. They outlined ambitious targets, pledging to achieve net zero emissions by 2050 or earlier. These commitments were met with cautious optimism from climate activists and experts. Delegates discussed a range of strategies to combat climate change, from investing in renewable energy and green infrastructure to preserving forests and promoting sustainable agriculture. Additionally, there was a strong emphasis on helping vulnerable communities adapt to the inevitable impacts of climate change, such as rising sea levels and extreme weather events. The Global Climate Action Summit will continue for the next 2 weeks, with leaders engaging in intense negotiations and collaboration. The world is watching, hoping that this summit will mark a turning point in the fight against the climate crisis and secure a sustainable future for generations to come.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Number of HIV cases in Houston, especially in the African American community. That is the goal of the I Am Life campaign. And here this morning is Majane Chambers, a transgender woman and I Am Life ambassador. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, I know you are such an advocate for prevention and for treatment. So what does it mean to you to have this campaign that is directly targeting African Americans and Latinos in the LGBTQ community?
Well, it actually is enjoyable because, like, a lot of people don't know, like, a lot of trans individuals don't know about PrEP. They just thinking it's for just gay men and other individuals, and I tell them PrEP is for everyone. PrEP is for male, female, trans individuals. It's for everyone.
Now, some people may not know, watching, what PrEP is, but that is what you were talking about, that you want to inform the transgender community that is something they can take to prevent HIV?
It is a precautionary measure to help along with condom usage. Now, I'm not going to stop and say never use condoms. Use condoms also. It's over 98% effective. PrEP alone, but with condom use is 100% effective. It protects trans individuals, and also another known fact is it does not affect their hormone treatment.
So that's a misconception that
it's a misconception
trying to fight against.
Yes, because like a lot of people, a lot of trans women and trans men, they're like, okay, is it going to affect my hormone replacement therapy? I'm like, no, it's not, because I've researched for several months, several months before and while where I'm working at, how can I say, like, I do a lot of research. I advocate for trans women, trans men, people of color, trans, everybody, all the communities.
And you feel like this has saved your life?
Yes, it has.
So this campaign has been going on for several weeks now, and you feel like it's really having an impact and that it is saving lives. You've gotten a lot of calls from people?
Yes, I have a lot of calls. I've actually referred a lot of people, different places, to especially help, because I'm part of the I Am Life campaign about the Houston Health Department, and sent them contact information to contact them.
Well, Fox 26 has been teaming up with the health department in this I Am Life awareness campaign as well. So we've been having a lot of folks on for interviews to spread the awareness. And Majane Chambers, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It is 7:26 now, and as you make those final trips before
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
The advent of electric vehicles, EVs, has ushered in a transformative era for urban transport infrastructure. With the growing concern over environmental sustainability and the need to reduce carbon emissions, EVs offer a promising solution that can significantly alter the urban mobility landscape. Here we examine the impact of electric vehicles on urban transport infrastructure. One of the most notable effects of EVs on urban infrastructure is the demand for charging stations. As more people switch to electric cars, the need for convenient, accessible, and fast charging points has surged. Municipalities and private enterprises have responded by expanding charging networks, placing charging stations in parking lots, shopping centers, and public streets. This development not only reduces the range anxiety that once deterred potential EV buyers, but also boosts local economies by increasing foot traffic to businesses near charging stations. Furthermore, the rise of EVs has placed pressure on local governments to invest in grid infrastructure upgrades. The simultaneous charging of multiple EVs can strain the power grid, necessitating smart grid solutions and investments in renewable energy sources to meet the increased demand. These upgrades, in turn, have a positive impact on the overall resilience and sustainability of urban power systems. The proliferation of EVs is also reshaping public transportation. Many cities are investing in electric buses, creating quieter, more environmentally friendly fleets. Electric buses reduce noise pollution and contribute to cleaner air in densely populated areas. So, electric vehicles are driving significant changes in urban transport infrastructure. They are reshaping the urban landscape by promoting the expansion of charging infrastructure, necessitating grid upgrades, and fostering a greener, more sustainable urban transit system. As more cities and countries embrace EVs, the positive impact on urban transport infrastructure will continue to grow, creating cleaner, more efficient, and environmentally friendly urban spaces.